Did you know that the 2025 Mazda CX-5 has a massive engineering flaw that could cost you thousands, while the 2026 Mazda EZ-60 is hiding a dark electrical secret? You will find out the absolute truth in today's video. Because right now, we are building the ultimate buyer's survival guide for you. Stripping away, the marketing fluff to look at the brutal mechanical and financial reality of these two vehicles. And honestly, looking at the US market, the CX-5 looks like an absolute steal when you pop the hood.
Yeah.
I mean, you get that proven 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine, or you can step up to the absolute beast of a 2.5-liter turbo that pushes out 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque on 93 octane.
Yeah, but you really cannot look at that traditional combustion setup without immediately contrasting it with what is happening over on the Chang'an EPA1 platform with the 2026 EZ-60, or the CX-60 as they are calling it over in Australia. Mazda essentially threw out the traditional mechanical rulebook. Instead of a 2.5-liter engine, you are staring at a rear-mounted 190-kilowatt electric motor. That gives you 258 horsepower and instant single-speed fixed-gear torque. It completely redefines how the car accelerates compared to a traditional gas engine.
Oh, for sure. Instant torque is always a blast.
Yeah.
But as your survival guide, we need to look past just the horsepower numbers. Because while one of these cars has a ticking maintenance time bomb lurking under the hood, the other comes with an insurance premium spike that will literally make your wallet weep.
Oh, absolutely.
We are going to break down those exact dollar amounts, but let's stay on the powertrain for a second, because the EZ-60 isn't just a pure EV, right?
Right, that is the fascinating part. There is an extended range electric vehicle variant, an EREV, which actually utilizes a 1.5-liter generator on board.
Wait, hold on, a generator. Isn't that just a fancy marketing term for a gas engine with extra steps? Like you are still stopping at a gas station and burning fossil fuels.
Well, I mean, it is a combustion engine, sure, but the engineering application is completely different from the CX-5. That 1.5-liter generator is only there to charge the battery. It doesn't actually drive the wheels. And here is the mechanical brilliance of it. It uses multi-point electronic fuel injection, or MPI.
Okay, because I know the CX-5 uses GDI gasoline direct injection. So what is the real-world difference for, the person actually paying the repair bills?
It really comes down to how the fuel hits the engine. In the EZ-60's MPI setup, fuel is sprayed behind the intake valves, and modern gasoline has heavy detergents in it. So that fuel constantly washes over the back of the intake valves, keeping them completely spotless.
I see where this is going. Because with the CX-5's GDI setup, the fuel is sprayed directly inside the high-pressure cylinder itself. It completely bypasses the intake valves.
Exactly, which means there is absolutely nothing cleaning them. The crankcase oil vapors get routed back into the intake, and because there is no fuel acting as a solvent to wash those vapors away, they just bake onto the dry, hot metal valves over time.
Ugh, it's basically like plaque building up in an artery because there's no mouthwash to clear it out.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy.
Eventually, you get this thick carbon crust that literally suffocates the engine's airflow. You start losing horsepower, your fuel economy tanks, and suddenly you are paying a mechanic a fortune to essentially sandblast your engine's internal throat.
Right. It's a huge hidden cost.
But, let's look at the financial trade-off. Because the CX-5 fights back hard against that maintenance cost with rock-solid depreciation, you are retaining about 55 to 60% of the vehicle's value over 5 years. Plus, it is sitting on dealership lots right now with a straightforward 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty.
Sure, but if you look at the international launch of the EZ-60 in Australia, the math shifts aggressively. You are looking at a 53,990 to 56,990 AUD price tag, but it is backed by a massive 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty.
Wow, unlimited.
Yeah. And the real financial leverage they're offering right now is this super aggressive pre-order perk. If you buy the base GT trim, Mazda gives you an automatic free upgrade to the flagship Azami trim that literally saves you $3,000 before you even drive off the lot.
Okay, I mean, a free $3,000 upgrade sounds incredible until you counter it with the brutal reality of EV depreciation. The EZ-60 is projected to retain only 40 to 45% of its value after just 3 years.
Ouch. Yeah.
So you want to save $3,000 up front, but you are hemorrhaging equity because the battery tech and the computing architecture become outdated faster than a laptop.
Which honestly perfectly sets up how these drivetrains actually behave in the real world. A warranty looks great in a filing cabinet, but you actually have to drive the car.
Exactly. And on paper, the CX-5's 6-speed automatic transmission with a lockup clutch sounds like a bulletproof traditional piece of machinery.
It sounds bulletproof until you wake up on a freezing cold morning. Here is that first mechanical flaw we teased earlier, the dreaded cold start shift flare. Yeah. When the temperature drops, the transmission fluid physically thickens. It becomes much more viscous. So the transmission control module, the brain of the gearbox, it struggles to coordinate the internal hydraulic pressure. It essentially fails to release the 2.6 brake clutch pack fast enough before the 3.5 R pack tries to engage.
Okay, that is a lot of alphabet soup right there.
Yeah.
What does a 2.6 brake clutch pack failing to release actually mean for the driver on their commute?
Well, inside an automatic transmission, different sets of clutches have to grab and release in perfect harmony to change gears. In the cold, that thick fluid slows everything down, so the transmission actually tries to grab third gear while it is still holding on to second gear.
So it's like a relay race where the first runner refuses to let go of the baton before the second runner takes off. They just end up tripping over each other.
That is a brilliant way to visualize it. You get this massive engine RPM spike because the transmission is caught in no man's land between gears, followed immediately by a violent jarring jerk as it finally slams into third. It is incredibly jarring.
Well, the EZ-60 EV doesn't have gears to slam together.
Yeah.
It's just smooth, linear, dead silent acceleration.
The pure EV is silent, yes. But if you buy the eRVV variant because you want to avoid range anxiety, you are going to pay a really steep NVH penalty.
Noise, vibration, and harshness.
Exactly. When that 1.5-liter generator kicks on to charge the battery, it isn't seamlessly isolated. You feel distinct buzzing vibrations traveling straight up through the steering column and vibrating right through the floorboards. It completely shatters that silent premium electric illusion.
Honestly, a little steering wheel buzz from a generator sounds like a minor annoyance compared to what happens with the CX-5's braking system.
Oh, right, the rotors.
Yeah, Mazda engineers made a very deliberate choice here. They used incredibly soft cast iron brake rotors from the factory. They did it to maximize passenger ride comfort and completely eliminate brake squeal. But the mechanical trade-off is a total nightmare.
Because soft rotors cannot handle thermal cycling.
Exactly. You do some heavy braking on the highway, those soft rotors heat up, and they just can't dissipate the heat fast enough. They warp and develop thermal high spots as early as 15,000 miles. You step on the brake pedal, and the steering wheel violently shakes in your hands. You're practically forced to swap out warped brake rotors every 20,000 miles just to drive safely.
That is such a painful, recurring physical wear item. But you know, if we are talking about temperature affecting performance, let's look at the EZ-60's winter reliability. The EV utilizes a 78 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, battery.
Right?
Now, LFP chemistry is famous for being highly durable. You can charge it to 100% every day without degrading the cells. And on paper, it claims 484 kilometers of range.
But wait, I've always heard that electric vehicles and freezing temperatures do not mix at all.
They don't. And LFP batteries hate the cold even more than standard lithium-ion. In freezing winter climates, the electrolyte inside the battery becomes really sluggish. To compensate, the car has to draw massive amounts of its own battery power just to run a resistive cabin heater to warm up the battery and keep you from freezing inside.
Meaning your energy consumption just skyrockets. We're talking 21.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers just to keep the car functioning. Your real-world range gets completely slashed from 484 down to just 360 kilometers.
Yep.
You are losing a huge chunk of your driving capacity just trying to keep your toes warm on the way to work.
Which really forces us to look at what it is actually like to spend time inside these cabins. Let's run these cars through the daily family survival test.
For daily livability, the CX-5 is a massive win for tactile tradition. It keeps physical HVAC buttons and a real click-wheel controller for the screen. It is a completely distraction-free environment.
That is so rare these days.
It is. You can adjust the air conditioning or skip a song purely by muscle memory while keeping your eyes on the road, even if the infotainment system itself feels a bit legacy compared to, like, an iPad.
Yeah, well, contrast that tactile analog setup with the EZ-60. You're stepping into entirely software-defined architecture. It is a hyper-minimalist environment featuring futuristic 5K dual screens, a completely button-free dashboard, and a column-mounted gear selector. Everything relies on touch interfaces or voice commands.
But is it actually comfortable to sit in? Because a major persistent complaint you will find on every CX-5 owner forum is about the seating. The leather seats on the higher trims are notoriously overly flat. They are far too firm and they severely lack side support. If you take this car on a long family road trip, you're going to experience genuine physical fatigue in your lower back and legs.
Oh, absolutely. The EZ-60 actually counters that firm, flat seating with highly plush Alcantara upholstery. And when it comes to family practicality, it absolutely swallows the CX-5. It brings a massive 549-liter rear trunk, plus this incredibly clever 28-liter quick access mini backpack storage area built right in.
Wait, a built-in backpack?
Yes. And it even features a 220-volt power outlet. You can charge laptops, run a small cooler, or power small appliances while you are camping.
Okay, having a 220-volt outlet and 5K screens makes the EZ-60 sound incredible, like a smartphone on wheels. But let me ask you this. What happens when your smartphone glitches? You just restart it. You can't exactly pull over to the side of the highway and reboot your car when you have 3 screaming kids in the back.
That raises a critical point, and it brings us straight to the dark electrical secrets we promised earlier. Because the EZ-60 is so heavily software dependent, it suffers from severe cloud and connectivity syncing failures. Yeah. These aren't just minor bugs. These glitches can completely disable crucial remote features. Imagine walking out to your car on a freezing morning and your cabin preheating simply refused to turn on because the server didn't sync.
That is infuriating. I mean, a physical button in the CX-5 works every single time you push it.
It actually gets worse on the EZ-60. If you get that flagship Azami trim we talked about earlier, it comes with controversial digital side mirrors. Instead of glass, it uses cameras and screens. Owners are experiencing severe display lag. Worse, the camera lenses are literally clouding up in bad weather.
Are you kidding?
No, it is a massive technological headache when you can't even rely on your side mirrors while merging in the rain.
See, advanced tech is amazing right up until it breaks, or until you crash it. Which brings us to safety ratings and the shockingly hidden costs of repairing modern vehicles. If we look at the crash structures, the CX-5 is built like an absolute tank. It earned an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus and a 5-star NHTSA rating. It even aced the rigorous, updated moderate overlap test. Mazda actually went back to the drawing board and added rear seatbelt load limiters and pretensioners to ensure the rear passengers don't suffer severe chest compression in a crash.
Well, the EZ-60 also boasts a 5-star safety rating, but from Euro NCAP. However, if you dig past the headline into the raw data, it only scored a marginal rating for far-side occupant protection.
Marginal. Wait, what does far-side protection even mean?
It measures what happens to the driver if the car is hit hard on the passenger side. Does the driver's body flail across the center console? The EZ-60 structural cage showed real weakness there. The only reason it managed to salvage its score is because they installed a front center airbag, which deploys between the driver and front passenger to prevent their heads from colliding. It patches the problem, but the structural weakness remains.
Okay, but let's talk about the financial aftermath of just a fender bender, because this is where the CX-5 shines brightly for your wallet. It is incredibly cheap to insure. We are talking an average premium of just $1,322 a year. That is almost $1,200 below the class average. Why? Because it uses traditional steel stampings, and its replacement parts are cheap and widely available at literally any body shop in the country.
Now look at the EZ-60's insurance reality. Buyers are getting hit with a massive 30% insurance premium spike right out of the gate.
Is that just a penalty for being an electric vehicle?
No, it is the fundamental architecture of the car itself. Let's look at the Level 2 ADS, the Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. To achieve that semi-autonomous driving, the car relies on 5mm wave radars and 5 high-definition cameras built right into the perimeter body panels.
Oh, wow. So a minor scrape in a grocery store parking lot isn't just a paint touch-up anymore. You are destroying thousands of dollars worth of calibrated sensors.
Exactly. But the real nightmare scenario is underneath the vehicle. If you put the EZ-60 on a lift, you see the high-strength aluminum casing for that LFP battery. That casing isn't just a box bolted to the bottom of the car, it is a structural component of the chassis itself.
Wait, it's acting as the actual floor of the car.
Yes. So if that underbody gets even slightly dented from bottoming out on a steep driveway or hitting road debris on the highway, it cannot be safely hammered out or repaired. Any deformation creates a severe risk of thermal runaway, like a battery fire. The entire structural pack must be completely replaced.
Let me get this straight. One bad speed bump car or a rogue piece of tire tread on the interstate, and the insurance company financially totals the entire vehicle.
Pretty much.
That is a terrifying amount of liability.
Yeah.
So bring this all together. What does this mean for you when you are standing on the dealership lot? Let's give you the rapid-fire verdict based on your budget and your mechanical pain tolerance.
If you lean toward the traditional side, you buy the CX-5. And the absolute sweet spot for your money is the 2.5S Premium Plus trim. You get rock-solid resale value, incredibly cheap insurance, and the muscle memory perfection of physical buttons.
But you only buy the CX-5 if you are fully willing to tolerate that violently jerky cold start transmission flare on winter mornings, flat seats on long road trips, and the absolute hassle of paying a mechanic to swap out warped brake rotors every 20,000 miles.
Right. On the flip side, you buy the EZ-60, specifically the GT trim, where you capture that free $3,000 Azami upgrade perk. If you prioritize the buttery smoothness of a rear-wheel drive EV, zero carbon buildup thanks to the EREV generator's MPI injection, and the futuristic appeal of a 5K dual-screen cabin with a 220-volt outlet in the back.
Provided, of course, that your stomach and your wallet can handle massive 3-year depreciation, cloud-syncing software glitches that lock you out of your heater, and a truly terrifying 30% insurance premium spike because your battery is a structural liability.
It really is all about picking your poison. You're either buying mechanical wear items with the CX-5 or software and sensor liabilities with the EZ-60.
Which cars would you like to see compared next? Let us know, and remind yourself to subscribe to the second channel. The link is in the description. But as you walk away from this deep dive today, we want to leave you with a final mind bender to mull over. As legacy automakers increasingly outsource their flagship EV platforms to foreign tech joint ventures, exactly like Mazda did with Chang'an to build the EZ-60, are you actually buying a Mazda anymore? Or are you just buying a rolling supercomputer wearing a Japanese badge?